Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the United Way for the Brighton and Hove Albion versus Manchester United Premier League preview. Manchester United travel to the Amex Stadium on Saturday, the 24th of August, to face Brighton. It's going to be an interesting game. Manchester United and Brighton obviously winning their opening games of the season. Manchester United beating Fulham by a goal to nil, and Brighton beating Everton 3-0. So both teams starting off perfect. Brighton probably started off the better and looking how they beat Everton. Brighton do sit top of the league, but again, so did we for a couple of hours. So it's 4th against 7th, but look, it's all to do with goal difference. And look, it is going to be a very, very interesting game. As you can see beside me, there will be no watch along for this game. Unfortunately, it's not that I'm choosing not to. I just won't be able to because I'll be out. So that is the reason why. But do follow our socials and we'll have up the team. Then we'll go through, maybe half time, go through what we thought of the first half if I get to watch the game. But there will be the usual pre-match team news, post-match score and our thoughts under it and all that sort of stuff. So there will be some sort of coverage for the game, but not on YouTube, unfortunately. But again, we'll start off with the team news. Still the usual suspects, no injuries that have came since we've played Fulham. So the usual suspects who are still out: Luke Shaw, Malacia, Yoro, Hoyland, Lindelof. Obviously, Maguire went off last week. I think he was, moving a bit gingerly, but he seems to be fine. And again, of course, hopefully we have Rasmus back soon, Shaw. It's a shame that we still have a few injuries. But look, here's hoping that they'll be back before December at least. Lindelof is out with a toe injury, Rasmus with a hamstring, Yoro with his foot, Malacia with a knee, and Shaw with his calf. And on to Brighton, actually, they have a few injuries of their own as well. Solly March is out with a knee injury. Julio and Kiso is out with also a knee injury. Verbruggen is out, and so is Igor Julio. And the players who are doubtful: Lamptey, Evan Ferguson, and Estupinian. So again, Brighton, even though they started off well against Everton last weekend, they still have a few injuries. Evan Ferguson, as an Irishman myself, he's a good striker, so he'd be a miss. Estupinian's a good player. Lamptey has a bit of pace. Marsh and Kiso, so Brighton are out with a few key players alongside ourselves. So, look, let's just see. Obviously Brighton do have a new manager as well. I'll try and pronounce his name near the end of the show if I can find their manager's name. So again, Brighton, you could say they have a bit of a manager bounce. Most teams have nowadays when they bring in a new manager. And you can sort of see that they're having a little bit of a manager bounce. Again, you could say this is their, it's Brighton's first home game of the season. It's and Everton aren't really a big club, so hope no one gets offended by that. But this is a tough game for both teams. So this is Brighton's, you could say, proper test. So again, I know we just about beat Fulham, but it's the first game of the season. Most sides that got their victories, besides Brighton, didn't really play to their best. So you hope that come the second game, the third, the fourth, and by the fifth game at least that we're up to some sort of speed and things are all moving well and there is no injuries. Because we're just about holding on to a left back in Dallow and Mazraoui. So and even Leach sometimes plays there nowadays. Played there against Man City in the derby in the Community Shield and played there for the latter stages of the game last week against Fulham. So again, it is going to be interesting to see. But the second game, what will you expect traveling to the Amex? I feel like Brighton are sort of our bogey team. When we do beat them, it's not an easy win. Obviously, we played them at the very last game of the season last season, and we beat them 2-0. But you can even say in that game, both teams didn't really play to their greatest. But you could say that Manchester United, they don't make life easy when they play against Brighton, and Brighton don't make life easy for us either. So again, it is going to be an interesting game. There's no doubt about it. Like back to that performance against Fulham, some would say, look, it's not a performance that would blow it away, but look, it's the first game of the season. I'm going to try not to use injuries as an excuse, but I just feel like we need to play a striker in this game. We can't play Bruno as a false nine or Mason Mount or Marcus Rashford up there. I feel like it has to be Joshua Zirkzee that has to start this game, and that's the question to you. Do you think Joshua Zirkzee will play against Brighton tomorrow afternoon? Well, tomorrow lunchtime. Do you think you will start? Do you think Ten Hag will stick with the exact same team that started against Fulham? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think I have one or two changes in my lineup. Again, it is a predicted lineup. It's not what I'd go with. I think it's what Ten Hag will go with. I know I spoke about Zirkzee last week in the preview on the watch along. I feel like we're sort of Ten Hag just wants to ease him in slowly but surely. I feel like you got that goal last week. Zirkzee came on, scored the goal. That'll give him confidence. And I'm not saying, he scored a goal. His first goal for Manchester United. It was turned out to be the winning goal in the end, thankfully. We could have won that game 2-0 in the end. But look, we won't talk about Garnacho's miss. He's a young lad. He probably score a worldie against Brighton with a bit of luck. Or Liverpool next weekend. But like I said, we played these at the early stages of last season, and they beat us 3-1 at Old Trafford. And then obviously the season before that, they beat us twice. It was 2-1 the first game of the season, and then they beat us 1-0 at the Amex with a late penalty because Luke Shaw thought he was a basketball player and decided to handball it. And then the season before that, Ten Hag, obviously, I don't think was the manager, so I can't remember that far back. But Manchester United travelling to the Amex, it doesn't be an easy one for us. Again, we did beat them 2-0 at the last game of the season just gone, but even that, it took until what, it must be like the 70th minute or whatever to find the back of the net. So I'm not expecting tomorrow's game to be an easy one for either team. And here's hoping that we can actually go through it tomorrow, put in a performance and do well against them, because it's a new manager. So, what way will he shape up? Will he go defensively? Will he go sit back? He'll have more of the ball. That's going to be an interesting one to see. He'll have more of the ball. But I do think Zirkzee should start this game. Would I start Rashford in this game? I wouldn't. I'd prefer Garnacho and Ahmad and Zirkzee, but I feel like Ten Hag will stick with Marcus Rashford. Here is my predicted 11. I'll throw it up on the screen. Onana in goals, same back four as last week. Dalot, Martinez, Maguire, Mazraoui. In midfield three of Mainu, Casemiro and Bruno, and then Rashford, Garnacho and Zirkzee. Obviously last week Mainu played in the midfield and Bruno was up top. Ahmad played on the right. Obviously Zirkzee didn't start, so you could say there's 2 or 3 changes in there. Taking out Mount, bringing in Zirkzee, taking out Ahmad, bringing in Garnacho. But like I said, if it was up to me, I'd have Onana, Dalot, Martinez, De Ligt, Mazraoui, Mainu, Casemiro, Bruno, Garnacho, Ahmad and Zirkzee. So I'd have De Ligt starting. I'd have Garnacho on the left, Ahmad on the right, and obviously I'd still have Zirkzee up top. That would be my team. But I don't know. Again, De Ligt may start. Ahmad may start, and Garnacho may not. But that's just what I'd go with. But I'm probably more hoping Zirkzee starts just to have a striker start, and Garnacho too. Garnacho. When Garnacho plays, he does a good job. So I hope again. Like I said, if I was the manager, my top three will be for tomorrow's game: Garnacho, Ahmad, and Zirkzee. That'd be it. Now I like Rashford, but you can't play him all the time either. Just the same as Ahmad and Garnacho as well. But and then Zirkzee, before we know it, Rasmus will probably be back. So hopefully he's back soon, anyways, because it'd be nice to have two fully fit strikers in Zirkzee and Rasmus. But I would start Zirkzee tomorrow. I do think we play a little bit better when we have a proper striker. But false nine, I know we sort of done it at the end of last season, and we did it against Man City in the FA Cup final, and it worked. But you can't do it all the time. So I feel like starting Zirkzee, even try it out, playing for 60, 70 minutes, and if it works, well then, do what you have to. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Ten Hag sticks with the exact same team that started against Fulham last week. I wouldn't be surprised. And that's just pretty much how I'd go with it. And again, let us know your pick 11. Do you agree with mine? If not, let me know why. If you do, let us know why as well. But again, it's what to expect. I mean, it's hard to know what to expect. It's the second game of the season. It's not. We're not 8 or 9, 10, 11 games in where you can sort of say, right, we could expect this and this, because both sets of teams, style of plays, how will that be? Brighton, Manchester United, how will Ten Hag shape up? How will the Brighton manager want his team to shape up? That's going to be another as well. So I just feel like both teams will have chances. Both teams will probably be a threat, but I just hope that we have a lot more of the ball. I feel like there will be moments in the game where we probably pulling the hair out of our head, thinking, what are we doing? We're letting them have, because Brighton, they can be a threat, but I hope with now, with how we're coming into it, beating Fulham, I'm sure, a few of the cobwebs, you wiped off the football boots. I just hope we can go into this game, have a good start, and get the win. That's all I want us to do, whether it's a scrappy win, I just want us to get a good win. A 2-0 would be beautiful. I just want to see a much better, because against Fulham, we didn't grab a hold of the game. I felt like Fulham were, in the first half, Fulham weren't too bad. Again, if you Manchester United players, Casemiro didn't do too shabby. Mazraoui, Maguire, funny enough. Mount wasn't the worst. I feel like it'll take him a lot longer to sort of get himself into that starting 11, though, when we have a fully fit team. As of now, we'd probably get in there because of, we have only one striker, and Zirkzee and Bruno could probably play as the false nine every now and again if Ten Hag chooses to. As well. But yeah, that's pretty much what I think will happen. And again, Brighton, let's see, a few signings, they plus, they signed a few players, just a bit like ourselves. So let's have a look at who Brighton have signed as well. But it will be handy to. All right, so the manager, I found the manager's name, Fabian Horsler. So their new manager, Fabian Horsler. I'm probably butchering that name, but sure, look. So they signed Barco on loan. Reuter in contention to make his debut. So Brighton have made a few signings of their own as well. So let's see what happens there. As well. But look, in terms of score prediction, I am going to go with a Manchester United 2-1 victory. I know Brighton, look, they're not a bad they're not a bad team. Last season it wasn't great. Obviously, the Zirkzee lasted till the end of the season. Then as soon as the season ended, then he was he said his goodbyes. Brighton gave him his P45, and told them to get out. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. I feel like in the end, our quality, we do have quality. As much as people are probably laughing at me saying that we do have quality. Who will I think he'll score? I'm going to say Bruno and Garnacho. I want to say Zirkzee. Zirkzee and Garnacho. I'll go with Joshua Zirkzee and Alejandro Garnacho to score. And I'm going to say Mitoma to score for Brighton. I'll go with that. But look, I don't think it'll be an easy one. It's an early kickoff. Never back the early kickoff. I'm not Jurgen Klopp. I'm not going to complain about the early kickoff because it is what it is. Get used to it. But yeah, hopefully we can get the win. And I actually do think we'll get the win. Don't get me wrong. I was struggling to predict the outcome in this match, but hopefully Manchester United don't lose, because if we can just build a good few wins, and before by the fifth game, we're like, hold on, we won we've had to win in 5 games in the trot. That'll be beautiful. Because even losing a game early on, we won the first game, so the pressure is slightly off us, but winning the first and then losing the second, it just feels like, right, how will things go now? Because you can just fall. And look, I know there's 37 games left, 36 after this weekend, but you just want to keep the wins going and going and going. Because come the end of the season, that point or that 3 points could be vital. And if you miss out on any of them, you could look back and say, if we won this, if that moment or this whatever, we could have been the Champions League or whatever. So every game is vital, and hopefully we can put in a good performance against Brighton tomorrow lunchtime, and just get the win and come out of it with no injuries. That's sort of when you look at positives. Like when I look at after last week's game, I thought, right, the positives, we won, Zirkzee scored, Casemiro wasn't too bad, was right, put in a good debut performance. We kept a clean sheet. We done well defensively, not too shabby. I also look at no injuries. No, we have no injuries, so that's always a positive. When none of our players have picked up injuries since the last match, and yeah, we want to see that style of play people are on about under Ten Hag. And look, it'll probably take time, but look, let's sit back. Let's hope it's a good game. Let us know your thoughts for the upcoming game tomorrow. Are you confident? Are you nervous? Do you think we'll win? Do you think we'll lose? Do you think it'll end in a draw? Let us know what you thought of the preview. Let us know what you think of my predicted 11 and score prediction. And hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said at the start, there will be no watch along, but there still will be the usual pre-match team news being on the socials and the post-match up score and thoughts under it as well. But look, hope you all enjoy the game, and let's hope Manchester United can get the win. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll speak to you all on the next one. Come on, United!